Good afternoon, Yankees fans, Mets fans, and Marlins fans, if there are any of those left in South Florida. And welcome to a officially summertime baseball is the only sport left going for now edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on WWNN radio and also streaming live with video on the South Florida Live channel on YouTube and Facebook. And today I am joined by Mike Lubie Lubitz. Jeff Defo DeForest is he's not AWOL. We know where he is. He's in New Orleans. He's having a good time. He sent video and photo proof yesterday, and I will detail some of the things that he sent me, from the sublime to the ridiculous. But happy Monday, and how was your weekend, Lubie?
My weekend was good, sir. It started interesting. We detailed it Friday. After that, it got a lot better. And then yesterday we did a Sunday Fun Day date night, my wife and I, at Steak 954. So that was nice, and I had some beach time. So yeah, we actually went real steak. We don't really eat a lot of red meat, so we both got nice sized steaks, had a good time, and then spent some time at the beach. How was your weekend, sir?
Mine was excellent. I did a lot of eating as usual, a little bit of gambling as usual, and I've got stories to tell. We'll get into that later because I caused a tizzy on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group, having the audacity of going back to one of my favorite places that my mom picks up. I pick up a turkey dinner for her every Saturday morning. It becomes part of the routine at Robert's Restaurant in Dania Beach. And I had a little mishap at home. It wasn't entirely my fault. It was partly because the packaging came apart. It just kind of crumbled, and I didn't drop it so much as it kind of fell apart in my hands, and everything went on the floor. So I went back, and I was willing to pay for a replacement. I mean, but they offered to give me a new one. And then, I kind of just wrote a very wanted to give a pat on the back, and just thanking them for being good in terms of taking care of a customer, and that's what customer service and customer it engenders a lot of customer loyalty when a restaurant goes out of the way to basically gave me a replacement for no cost. And then I put it on the Facebook group, and everybody kind of went nuts on me. Not everybody, and again, most people were took it in the spirit that it was intended, which was saying, hey, thanks for doing that. But of course, the 10% of the people out there who are always nasty, not always nasty, but I was a little surprised. They were like saying, well, you shouldn't have even gone back, or you shouldn't have brought back the old box. And in my mind, it was like, well, it was like kind of a two-way street. I wasn't going to demand anything, but I wanted to show them that maybe they do need to maybe start thinking about upgrading the takeout boxes, because it was the old styrofoam, and I don't know, they get a little flimsy, especially when you pile on the stuffing and mashed potatoes. But anyway, it was meant to be a thank you to Roberts and Mary, the manager out there. They do a great job. Roberts Restaurant in Dania Beach. I don't know if you've ever been out there, Lubie. It's one of those great kind of little hole-in-the-wall diners that's it's only open during the daytime. I don't even think they're open at night anymore, but along the lines of kind of like a Lester's Diner or a Floridine and things like that. Great breakfast, great turkey clubs and turkey dinners and all that stuff. But anyway, I got off the beaten track. I feel like Defo now. Getting back to classy beachfront dining, me and you had something in common this weekend, because I was a little bit further up the road, and I guess you went on Saturday night, or was it?
We
went
Sunday evening around
Sunday
5 o'clock.
evening.
Like
nice.
Early bird special.
To Steak 954.
Yes.
That's in. Oh, there is an early bird special. No.
I'm just joking.
Okay,
we had dinner at like 5.
Not at that place. That's
no.
It's in the W Hotel, and it's very been there for a long time. I think over 15 years, and I reviewed it once for the Sun Sentinel when I was in that restaurant critic role, and I gave it a good solid. The place is solid.
They do a good job.
It does what it does. It's I guess the cool part of that place is the jellyfish tanks, right? Did you sit inside or outside?
That's interesting you brought that up. I looked at it all night, and I'm like, is that jellyfish?
Yes. So that's the cool. They kind of glow. They have this bluish
Yep. Yep.
background, and the jellyfish pulsate. And if you sit like inside at a table there that's facing it, you could gotta get mesmerized by the jellyfish while you're eating your
Yep.
steak. And then if you sit outdoors, you don't really see it so much. But it's a really again kind of a modern steakhouse. The restaurateur who's behind it, it's called Steven Starr, the Star Group, and they have a whole bunch of restaurants. All around Philadelphia, New York, and down here in Miami Beach, and now in Fort Lauderdale. They also have the restaurant next to it, the Mexican place El Vez. I don't know if you've ever
Yep.
been
I've
there.
been there a couple
Uh,
times. Yep. Yep. They
do
do a good
you
job. It's
like it?
interesting. It's more elevated Mexican. It's okay.
I didn't love it. I reviewed that
Yeah.
one, and I kind of gave it actually more than a mixed review. It was a kind of a slam.
Yeah.
I did not have a good meal there, and I just thought it was ridiculously overpriced. And it was one of those meals where everything was so unsatisfying that afterwards, the people in my group, we went to Taco Bell. We enjoyed
Oh
Taco.
no, really? Shirley likes it. Exactly. To me, like that's what I don't mind. Steak 954. It is what it is. It might, of course, it's not cheap, but what they do a good job at it, and I know what I'm expecting. When I go to Mexican, I expect a certain kind of thing, and Alves, it's a little bit. They try to be elevated Mexican, and I'm like, I just want Mexican.
I don't have a problem with I
I
don't have a
mean,
problem with elevated Mexican.
yeah, I
I
was
don't
like,
have a problem with the prices. I just want it to be good elevated Mexican. In the case, the nights that I went there, it was like I don't know. I had this kind of shrimp. I don't know if it was a shrimp taco or shrimp something, and it's just like the shrimp tasted iodine-y, and just like the products. Nothing was like,
oh, jeez.
for the price. It was just like it was underwhelming is the word I use a lot, and I just never had any inclination to go back. And I know like some people really like the spot. I mean, it's can't beat the location again on
Yep,
the Fort
yep.
Lauderdale
It's
Beach there,
pretty.
overlooking the sand. Very pretty. You get nice drinks. You can't really mess up a margarita. All these places do
Yeah.
their fancy cocktails, and the Mexican places do all the different flavors of the margaritas.
Yep.
But when it comes to the food, I just thought it was like, And there's another place a little further up the road that's also elevated Mexican. It's called Lona. It's in the
Okay.
Weston Beach Resort there. I like
Okay.
the food there better. Again, I think there's much better, more authentic Mexican around, but they've got to appeal to the tourists and
Yeah.
the Midwesterners coming in for their cruise ships. So they do what they do. But if I had a hankering for Mexican, I wouldn't necessarily go to Fort Lauderdale Beach. But if I did, I would go to Lona over Elvez. And there's the unvarnished truth. And there goes any shot of ever getting the Elvez.
No, what I was gonna
Steak
say
knife
is,
rifle.
what I've learned from these restaurants that are smart, they don't just get pissed at critiques; they embrace them. So that's what I was gonna ask you. If you got to talk to an Elvis, because I did like the location, the service was good. Like I actually liked the restaurant, the idea of it. The food was just sort of hit and miss for me, and for you, didn't like it at all. Like I would hope that they'd be open to going, okay, we're trying to do good stuff here. Let's embrace a guy that knows what the hell he's
Yep.
talking about.
Right. No, no. And some of the places I go back and check them out again and see if they improve. But for some reason, I just never got back to Elvez, and
Yeah.
maybe I should. I guess I will one of these days. But Steak 954, again,
Do a good
always
job.
solid. Maybe a little more money than I want to spend on a steak dinner, but they usually have high quality product, and
Yep.
I think they still are using the prime beef.
Yep.
And their desserts there, they've had a long time pastry chef. I don't know if she's still there, but they do this baked Alaska dessert, and you hardly
Wow.
ever see baked Alaska on a menu anymore.
Yep.
And it's great. It's like the pastry chef there is I forget her name. It slips my mind, but if she's still there, she was one of the best in town. So, speaking of my elevated beachfront experience, it came
Yes.
on Friday night with Dickstein, Best of Del Rey. Actually, because the Best of Del Rey, well, we had the launch party last week, and we're
Tuesday. Yep.
doing well. Numbers are looking good, and people are
Nice.
joining they're downloading the app. Again, you can find it on the App Store and Google Play at
Nice.
Best of Local / Best of Delray Beach, and you can download it, and you'll find all the best in entertainment and restaurants and attractions in the Delray Beach area. But we actually had a visitor last week, the guy who's the chief technology officer,
Okay.
or as we call him, the tech geek, affectionately, Lewis. He was in town. I think him and his wife have they have a condo timeshare in Deerfield Beach, and they were in town, I think, for a wedding over the weekend. But anyway, Friday night, Lewis and his wife, and Dickstein and his wife, and me all by my lonesome went to the new Four Seasons resort slash condo on Fort Lauderdale Beach. I don't
Yeah.
know if you drove
I
by it.
passed it. I was wondering. I'm
Yeah,
like, I wonder
yeah.
how good this is. Like, I didn't realize we had a Four Seasons down here.
I think it opened at the beginning of the year, and this restaurant, it's called Evelyn's, or I heard them pronounce it Evelyn's. Evelyn's restaurant is tucked away on the third floor of the new Four Seasons. So it's not right on the water. It's not right on that first floor overlooking the beach. It's kind of, you
Yeah.
got to take an elevator to go up, and it's this really cozy, classy room. It's weird because it has an outdoor, like a patio area, but it's wedged off to the side, so you don't see the beach. And then it's like the restaurant is built next to the pool deck, so you get a little bit of glimpse of the ocean in the background in daytime, but at night when it gets dark, you don't really see the ocean. So I
Mm.
wouldn't call it necessarily oceanfront dining, but it is one of the best dining experiences I've had in Fort
Oh
Lauderdale
wow.
in years and years. I mean, it's kind of a Mediterranean slash Middle
Mm.
Eastern menu. A lot of things,
Okay.
like they have this meze platter with all these different types of hummus. They had this truffle hummus. They had
Nice.
regular hummus. They had the eggplant salad. They bake their fresh pita, and they put on all that, the spices like the za'atar and the sumac and some of these Middle Eastern spices.
Yeah.
And they bake they call it a Jerusalem bagel. It's kind of like an everything bagel. It kind of like they hang it on a rack. It looks like a pretzel when they serve it, and it was really soft and warm. And you dunk all these, the pita and the bagel and the dips, and then they had, a whole other bunch of stuff on the menu. Octopus that was really artfully. Everything was very artful.
Nice.
I was blown away by the service. It's very expensive, so you would call it a occasion place. I mean, but we had a good bottle of wine. We each had a cocktail, and we
Okay.
had a full, platter of a whole arrangement. You
Great.
know
Yeah.
how I eat,
Yeah.
Lubie.
You're right.
I never under order. And you know
Yeah.
what? All things considered, considering it was a good bottle of wine, just one bottle for five of us,
That's fine.
we ate. It was like $150 per person,
Okay.
including tax and tip. So five of us got out of there for, well, you do the math, 750
Yeah.
bucks. It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
but 150 for per person these days. You go to Miami, some of the places are up to 200 per person, and the level of the service and the cuisine was just like outstanding. And it's this
Good.
this young chef that's there. And again, this is Evelyn's at the Four Seasons Resort, and Evelyn's opened at I guess, toward the end of March, so it's about 3 months in, that's the time that I usually would go and review and check out a restaurant when I was
Okay.
back in the Sun Sentinel days, because I always like to give a restaurant,
A
time
cushion.
to kind of find its sea legs. They're going to be tweaking some menu items and, adjusting some things. I can't stand these days, when people go in the restaurant the first week and then they just put them on blast on Yelp. I mean, come on, that's not fair, especially if it's a
Yeah.
higher end place, and people say, oh, well, they're still charging the same amount of money and they should
Okay, then
be
don't go in yet.
right. Well, my rule is, like, I would never go into a restaurant in the first 2 3 weeks. I mean, that's just like
Exactly.
masochists in order to do that, because there's always going to be something going
Yep.
wrong, and
Yep.
new staff and training and all that stuff. Like, at least give it 4 weeks before you step
Yep.
foot in the door, and then you don't really give a serious assessment until you're 2 to 3 months in, and some people say, well, if nobody went to the restaurant in the first month, then it would go out of business. And that's true. I guess somebody's got to be a guinea pig, but it's not
Yeah.
going to be me, not in a serious way. Um, but anyway, really impeccable. They do this whole branzino, and yeah, it's a ridiculous
Nice.
amount. Yeah, they present it table side whole,
Okay. Okay.
and from the Mediterranean, delicate piece of really flaky white fish, $95. I mean, that's a
Mm.
lot of money,
How
but
much does it
the
feed?
the the server carved it up. He filleted it, deboned it table side,
Okay.
and laid it out on two different plates
Oh,
for
nice.
five of us on two sides of the table. And we also had some lamb chops that were excellent. We had some octopus. We had some other dishes. And, so you have a couple of bites of fish, you have a lamb chop. That's the way I like to eat, where you have a little
Yep.
bit of everything.
Yep.
But the guy who's the chef there, his name is Brandon Solomon.
Okay.
He grew up in New York, Long Island. He
Wow.
classically trained at the Culinary Institute of America, which is like the Harvard of cooking schools, place where Tony Bourdain went. And but basically, Brandon Solomon, I was familiar with him because he spent the last 5 or 6 years at this Four Seasons in Palm Beach at a
Mm.
restaurant called Florey's. Now, Florey's I reviewed when I was at the Sun Sentinel, and he was there as kind of the sous chef or chef, like the number two chef. And Brandon obviously has a lot of talent, but this Flores that I gave 4 stars when I was at the Sun Sentinel is overseen by this internationally really acclaimed chef named Mauro Calagreco.
Mm.
Mauro, he now has like 15 restaurants around the world, but his main restaurant is in the south of France, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, and it's been awarded 3 Michelin stars. That's the top rating from Michelin to get 3 stars. And it also, they have that every year, they have that annual the best 50 restaurants in the world competition, and that Mauro Calagreco's restaurant in France was named the #1 restaurant in the world a couple of years ago.
Oh, jeez.
And so that guy knows what he's doing. And then
Yeah.
Brandon was able to
Learn
learn a
under him.
lot from him and was his mentor. And he got to travel to the mothership in France and learned all kinds of techniques. So Brandon is just in the business parlance, just killing it. And I'd say right now, in terms of top level culinary experiences in Fort Lauderdale, you will need to check out Evelyn's at the
That's
Four
cool.
Seasons.
That's
So,
big.
big recommendation, and I wrote it up and put it on the Let's Eat group, and it was getting a nice
Nice.
little reaction and a buzz, although a lot of people chime in like, "Oh, that's so expensive." And as again, not
It
for
is. It
everybody.
is. Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but these days I go out, like last night, I went to a restaurant and I spent $100 a head, and it was just like, eh.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd rather spend $150 a head on something that's truly spectacular
Yep.
than
Yep. Yep.
$100 on So that's my review of the weekend, and I'm glad that Lubie and Lovely Shearly got out to a nice steak dinner at Steak 954, another place that's gambling gourmet recommended, and Lunchbox approved, along with Evelyn's at the the new Four Seasons. And again, lovely property. When you go into those Four Seasons or those like Ritz, it just smells nice in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just it
Yep.
smells like, I don't know
Yep.
what kind of fragrances and scents they're using, but it smells like success. So
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
going in there because it makes me feel like a winner. Hey, talking about all these great properties along Lauderdale Beach, Fort Lauderdale Beach, it's just this is the kind of thing that you could find and enjoy through Lauder Deals and our
Yep.
friends at Visit Lauderdale. We'll be going out again this week on Thursday with Nikki Mohan to, again, one of the more off the beaten track places in Greater Fort Lauderdale, because we like to spotlight both the high end and maybe the more affordable everyday places that also provide great food and great value. And again, you can find all these things at Lauder Deals, because this summer you can enjoy the good life for less in Greater Fort Lauderdale with Lauder Deals. And those are the great deals on dining, hotels, attractions, spas, and so much more all summer long. So start planning your summer getaway online at visitlauderdale.com/deals and see all the ways that you can save. You can find great hotel deals on everything from luxury beach resorts to family-friendly suites. And you can indulge in food and drink specials at local restaurants and bars. Shop Lauder Deals for exciting attractions like Flamingo Gardens and Butterfly World. And if you're a Florida resident, a first responder, or in the military, you'll find even more deals just for you. From miles of golden beaches to pampering at celebrated hotels, resorts, and spas, the good life awaits in Greater Fort Lauderdale. So shop Lauder Deals now at visitlauderdale.com/deals and plan your best summer vacation ever.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Of course, you can check it out each and every day, 1470 WWNN. Check it out on the FMs as well, plus WWNNTalkRadio.com. But if you want to go online, you can watch us right now. South Florida Live on YouTube, South Florida Live on Facebook. So much more to come. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on 1470 WWNN.
And we're back on a Monday edition of the Lunchbox, getting ready for the last week of June. Can't believe half the year of 2022 is almost in the books. Next weekend is going to be a fun weekend, the 4th of July, falling on a Monday, which is the perfect placement of a federal holiday. So we're going to have a 3-day weekend that's all natural. And I don't know if, can you hear me, Ryan? I don't know if we're still
You're
on
here.
the
You
air.
are doing well. I hear you loud and clear, Mr. Mayo. You sound good, my friend. You look even
Okay.
better.
All right. Well, hopefully the WWNN feed. Oh yeah, there it is. It's going. Sometimes
It's
it
there.
just
Fine.
disappears, and I get a little bit clamped.
I know.
I
I'm
gotta
aware.
be. I'm just gonna
My
keep
default. I
going.
don't mock you as much.
So yeah, Fourth of July next weekend. There's gonna be a lot of fireworks, a lot of hot dogs, a lot of fun, family fun, beach, all that stuff. But before we get into that, I want to put a wrap up on. I guess this past weekend. We got to say congratulations. A little bit of sports today on the Monday edition of the Lunchbox. Congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche for dethroning the two-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay, very tough out, but Colorado prevails on the road and manages to get past the Teflon goalie of Vasilevsky and got a couple of goals on the road to win, and then proceeded to put a dent in the Stanley Cup with their celebration.
Yeah, you like trip.
If you saw that, but that Stanley Cup, it's tough. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking after all these years. They managed to clean it out and fix it up, and they must have a pretty good body shop that repairs that thing every year. But yeah, now that hockey is over, that's why at the start of the show I rattle off the baseball teams, probably in descending order of popularity in South Florida. But yeah, we're stuck now with nothing but baseball for a couple of weeks. NBA season's over, the draft is over, the hockey season's over. Very late this year, but that's the way they staggered it for ABC and ESPN, which had the rights this year.
Yeah.
And now for the next few weeks until training camps in the NFL start in earnest, we've got nothing but baseball. What says you, Mike Lubie Lubitz? Are you excited to watch a few games the next couple of weeks?
I'm going to turn my attention to baseball a bit, but what I will say is I'm glad that's why I'm doing this with you, because I can just pay attention to food. Like I'll just focus more on my eating habits and my health habits, and will more on my relationship. Shirley, because her big joke is whenever she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "It's the playoffs," and she's like, "You say that all the time. It's the playoffs all the time." I'm like, "It's not all the time. The playoffs, June, like late June through August, there's no playoffs." So this is that time where we will put, I'll put sports aside a bit. We'll talk about it every day on our show, but I'm happy to be doing this and focus more on food and, lifestyle kind of a thing.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna, say that obviously Yankee fans are ecstatic because
Oh
they're
my
just
God.
running away with the AL East. They've got an 11-game lead on the Red Sox at this point, and the Yankees, it looks like, if my math is correct, they're 33 games over 500, 53-20. So that's pretty remarkable for going into the end of June. And Mets fans, and they're even more shocked because their team is 20 games over 500.
Yep. Yep.
They only have a 5-game lead over the Atlanta Braves, which Mets fans, being Met fans, know that that's a very slim margin. And come August and September, when the bullpen usually starts faltering, they're expecting bad things to happen because, let's face it, history repeats itself quite often. But for now, Mets fans like my brother Burl are very happy, and they're watching every game with bated breath because it's fun to have a team that's successful. And then we have the Marlins, only 5 games below 500 at this point, 33-38. But 12 and a half out of it. And I guess there was no betting on the over under the win total this year,
No,
right,
no, no,
Luby?
no, no,
No
no.
more run for 71
No,
or whatever or the
try for 75. No, no.
I don't know what they're over, what was the number this year? Was it 68?
No idea.
Trying to be
I
great
have
for
no idea.
68, but the
Um,
Marlins, it's not a lot to root for or hope for there. So the only time that people seem to want to go down to the Marlins Park in Miami is when the visiting team is one of interest. I think the Mets are in town this weekend. Is that right or wrong? I have no idea. That's how much I was paying
the Mets
attention.
were
So
this past weekend. Yeah, this past weekend, the Mets were
yeah.
here and they took 2 or 3 from the Marlins. The Marlins did
So
salvage yesterday's game.
I don't even know what happened. That shows you how closely I was following sports this weekend. My man, our man Jim Sarney wrote a note of saying, "What's wrong with Lexi Thompson? Why does she keep
He was
choking in
screaming at me.
majors?" And I was like, "There was a major." So, and I guess Lexi Thompson, she grew up in Boca, right? I think,
He
and
said Coral Springs. He made sure
Coral
I knew she was
Springs.
from
Yeah,
Coral Springs. I
yeah,
live in
yeah.
Coral Springs, so
That sounds right. Lexi Thompson. You know who would know my old colleague Randy Mel, Randall Mel, for a long time covered a lot of LPGA for the Golf Channel until he left the Golf Channel and now is in semi-retirement up in Orlando. But he followed Lexi Thompson for a long chunk of her career. But I guess Lexi also kind of struggled there with her putter at the end of the PGA, the Women's PGA Championship. That was Sunday at the very tough course, Congressional Country Club outside D.C. They've held a couple of majors there for the men, and it's a bear of a course. And yeah, the winner yesterday, In Gi Chun of South Korea, shot 3 over par 75. I don't know what it means when major champions are shooting over par for 2 days in a
yeah,
row,
that's
but
a joke.
it means it's a tough course
Yeah.
or something like that. But anyway, congratulations to her. And I can't figure out how to fix Lexi Thompson's closing struggles, Jim Sarney. I am not a sports psychologist.
I love Sarny.
Just know how to play one on the radio. But and Jim Sarney tells me, because he always is on top of the Ministry of Silly Food
Yeah, yeah,
holiday
yeah, yeah.
calendar. Today, believe it or not, June 27th is National Ice Cream Cake Day. And I was like, what?
Just
I
had
already
one.
had, I said I had my Fudgy the Whale for Father's Day. That should be National Ice Cream Cake Day. And he asked, am
Exactly.
I getting another Fudgy? And it's like, no, one is my limit on
Yes.
Fudgies for the month of June. So, but if you are going to have an do you like ice cream cake? It's very
Yes,
divided
love it,
because
love it.
some people just say, "Oh no, I want regular cake and ice cream. I want ice cream in a sundae or a banana split." Me, I like the Carvel ice cream cakes. I like those little
The
crunchies,
crunchies, oh my god, nothing beats the crunchies. That's the best. The Carvel ice cream cake is phenomenal. I grew up on it. I love it. One thing I'll tell you, and I don't know if they still make it, but for a while they were making a Snickers ice cream cake.
Mm.
That was spectacular. That randomly became my favorite cake. I just don't know if they make it anymore. But uh, look, cake is cake. I think they're different animals, and I think a nice ice cream cake, especially when it's hot outside, is phenomenal.
Well, the thing is, like, I enjoy ice cream, and I hit the jackpot this year because I always have my birthday around Father's Day, so I got my Fudgy the Whale, which is usually for Father's Day, and they usually inscribe it to a whale of a dad, but in my case, it was Happy Birthday, Dad, and but the fudgy I got from the Carvel out by my daughter's high school, and they're nice enough to sponsor her cheerleading squad.
Nice.
And when we picked up the forms and the stuff for her cheerleading sponsorship, I also picked up my Fudgy the Whale, and the owners out there, Liz and Anthony, were very kind enough to give me an extra cup of crunchies to pour all
Nice.
over my cake. So you're living the good life when you get the extra crunchies on the side with your Fudgy the Whale. So anyway, speaking of ice cream, some people like was it Cold Stone Creamery? I don't
Yeah.
love Cold Stone
Mm.
Creamery's flavor. Everything just has that sweet cream base, and then they add things
Yep.
to it. I
Yep.
don't love it. I don't love their ice cream cakes. It's been a million years since I've had a Baskin Robbins ice cream cake, but they used to
Wow.
do a credible job with ice cream cake. And you know who else, Luby?
Oh,
Believe it or not, if you go into our friends at Tropical Acres for their early bird special, that's every night from 4:30 to 5:30. It comes with a complimentary choice of desserts, and one of the dessert offerings they have for the early bird is an ice cream cake. And
really?
yeah, and
That's friggin' cool.
the lovely ex Mrs. Mayo, Michelle, and my daughter, they go in there sometimes and hit the early bird, believe it or not, which they're always looking for a good deal.
Yeah,
And
deal.
they got the ice cream cake, and they said it's good, and because it has a little bit of layers of ice cream with actual layers of, like, I guess the
Cake.
the vanilla yellow sponge cake, and
Nice.
that's a style that some people like, and it's one of the many reasons why I will always be singing the praises of Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. And here we are on a Monday. I'm ready to take you and settle up the debt on a half
Yeah,
price
I
wine
know.
night. And where's Defo? He's
No
out of
default.
town. So that's okay. We're gonna get it settled at some point soon because
Yes, sir.
it's bothering me. I don't like to be having
Have a
any kind
dead
of
hanging over your
debts
head.
hanging out there. I don't want anybody to accuse me of being a welcher. So, me, you, and Defo will head into Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop one of these days. But you all out there should head in there today, tonight, tomorrow, anytime this week. I think for 4th of July, they're going to be closed as usual on the Sunday, but open for the holiday. I got to double check that. I'll look on their website, which you can do right now at tropicalacres.com. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of 95 and the airport. It's a South Florida institution since 1949. It has old school hospitality from the Studiali family. They'll take great care of you. Great place for steaks, seafood, and so much more. And of course, don't forget, summertime means the twin steamed whole Maine lobster
What a
special.
deal.
It's so good. $35 for 2 Maine lobsters. You crack them, at the table and just eat all that good sweet meat. You dunk it in a little bit of butter. Comes with a salad and a side dish for $35. You can't beat that deal. And of course, the steakhouse is open from Monday through Saturday, starting at 4:30. Happy hour in the bar for the first 2 hours. But better yet, with 4th of July coming up, there is the butcher shop. It's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day but Sunday. But for all your 4th of July needs, they have all kinds of goodies besides the steaks. Sometimes they have some of the good burger meat, and they have preformed patties that they do like combos, like a Swiss cheese with mushroom patties or gorgonzola with a little bit of bacon. All
Nice.
these good combo burgers there. Go into Tropical Acres. Tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, Defo, and Lubie sent you.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox each and every day, 1470 WWN, and also on the FM dial, 96.9 and 95.3. Check them out there. Also, check us out, WWNNTalkRadio.com. And we are video live, South Florida Live, as it is on YouTube, and South Florida Live on Facebook. Coming up next, more of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on 1470 WWNN.
And we're back here on a Monday, shaking off the weekend cobwebs. I'm actually feeling pretty good today. I treated myself well over the weekend, and let me tell you, I had to do I need to get back in the exercise habit there. It's so darn hot. It's tough to kind of walk or bike ride anytime after, let's say, 6 a.m. because it's just broiling out there. I don't know about you, Luby.
Oh
Do
no,
you
it's insane.
gym, or do you have any kind of regiment? You look like a little buff there. You kind of have to
I
hit the
work out,
weights
yeah,
or
yeah. I
something?
mean, I do stuff at the house, and then Shirley and I occasionally, because she's a gym membership that she doesn't use, so I make her use it because that the to be brutally honest, the Jew and me can't just pay for things that don't get used. I don't understand that. So we go every couple of weeks. We'll go, but I'll do stuff at the house. And our complex gym, because we live in a townhouse. They have a solid gym. Like they have like a bench and they have actual weights and they have the machine. So I'll go there and I'll work out there as well. But
That's good.
outside, no.
So I kind of got well, here's what happened today. I said, first of all, my daughter and baby mama Michelle, they just landed in well, Cancun, Mexico, but they're going to
Ooh,
Tulum. They're going for
whoa,
a
really?
nice mom and daughter like a week long a little resort vacation there in Tulum, which I've never been, and
Shirley
so
wanted to go there bad. So you'll have to give
I'm
me their stories.
I'm jealous, but they just landed. I'm happy to hear that they safely landed, but it means that I get a little more free time this weekend. I was gonna get, go walking, but instead, first I had to do my oil change, and you know what happens. You go in for the
So,
oil
man.
change, and it's like, oh, we need to do the radiator flush. Oh, and you need the full injection cleaning. $400 later, it's like, ow.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you know what? My car is getting up there, 90,000 miles. I've been putting a lot of miles going back and forth between Delray Beach and Dickstein, and of course my daughter's school. So
Yeah.
I'm going to treat my car well. You got to do it and bite the bullet. But the other thing is, as I get home from the oil change, my neighbor is outside and she's doing some yard work and lawn work, and she just looks over. You know me, Luby. I'm not the handiest guy in the world, and I don't
Just like
necessarily stay on top of everything, maybe like I should. But there was this like bush on the side of my house that is like on the side of this neighbor, and I don't know what happened to it. It could be blight or fungus or maybe termites, but the thing is dead as a doornail, and it's just like this little barren bush. I don't know what it used to be, like a rhododendron. It used to sprout some roses or something like that, but
oh, nice.
hasn't sprouted anything. It just looks like, the Christmas tree and the Charlie Brown's
And it's
Christmas
death. Yeah,
story. It
exactly.
looks like that. And she was just looking at it like, I was like, I look at it, I said, "Does it bother you?" And she goes, "Well, yeah, it's kind of dead." And and I was like, "Well, there's beauty in decay." She didn't want to hear that.
They're trying to be deep.
She didn't want to hear my existential art
Oh my god.
project thing about I like just watching things decay and degrade on their own.
The
She's like,
life cycle.
she's like, I have a saw. I was like, okay, I
That's
can take.
great. She's trying to help you get rid of the thing.
I took the hint. I said I have a saw, so I went back to my shed and I dug out the saw. And let me tell you, I was out there like sawing down a couple of things and trying to do a little other pruning on some of. After about 40 minutes of sawing and hacking and weeding, that's a workout. I was like ready to. I felt like just rivulets of sweat oozing out of every pore. I didn't know if I was having any heart conditions or anything, but I just, what, after I got done with that and I felt good. I haven't seen her yet. I can't show off my handiwork, but hopefully she'll appreciate it. But I just stripped off and just dove right into the pool, and there's nothing better than on a hot day to just kind of take a dunk in a cool pool, and now I feel like I actually did a little bit of workout today.
Look at
So
you.
there's that.
I'm
So
proud of you.
meanwhile, our friend Defo, I don't know if he's taking his walks of life in New Orleans, but I
Yeah.
do know that he's hit all his favorite spots, because I don't know if he's been sending you any pictures, but he sent me, a picture of outside Acme
Acme.
Oyster
He showed me
Bar.
the line in Acme. Yeah, and the
And it
Acme
was a
line.
nice long line,
Yeah.
and that's one more reason why I sometimes make a face and say tourists. It's touristy. If he goes to my man Pascal's Manali, Mark out at Pascal's Manali, which is all the way out in the Garden District on Napoleon Avenue, and they've got all the classic oysters and shucked fresh on the half shell, and also grilled and oysters Bienville and Rockefeller.
Ooh, I love that so much.
I tried to send them there, but it seems like you can't teach this old dog any new tricks.
So it's very regimented.
He went to have me. He then sent me a picture. Actually, yesterday, it looks like during Sunday brunch, somebody flambeing a dessert, probably like a bananas Foster. Like,
Nice.
where's
Yeah,
this at
that's nice.
B's? Because that's one of the classic Brennan's and Mr. B's. They're
Yep, yep.
known for classic preparations and flambés. And he's like, no, Arnaud's. And
Ooh.
Arnaud, 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 very classy joint in the French Quarter. One of the oldest restaurants in New Orleans. There's Galatoire's and there's Arnaud's. And glad to see that Defo and the clan made it out to a classy establishment like that. I mean, what are the odds? Both me, you, and Defo hit
Yeah, all three of us ate like
is this weekend. You 954. Me with the Evelyns or
freaking
Evelyn
Four
with the Four
Seasons.
Seasons, and the Defo with the Arnaud in the French Quarter. Later, after that shot of the flambe, he sends me a completely disgusting looking chili dog from Lucky Dog. And Lucky Dog are these carts that are all over New Orleans that I guess it's been a staple of New Orleans street culture since 1946, says the cart. And it's a Lucky Dog. So I don't know what happens if he tried to eat that Lucky Dog and then go back to the video poker machines at Paris. We'll get the full story tomorrow when Defo comes back. But glad to see that he's taking in all the sights and sounds and tastes of New Orleans, from the high and the sublime to the ridiculous. Lucky Dog, you know what? I probably have had one or two of them in my lifetime when I've been drunk on the Bourbon Street, but it doesn't strike me as anything. It wasn't a memorable dog. It was just a street cart dog, but Defo raves about him, so who am I to disagree? That's fine.
The only place I do that is New York, just because I like the streetcar dogs, and that's sort of a thing for me. But
I love the dirty dogs.
In the middle of New Orleans, to like try and find a hot, like with the food that they have everywhere. I mean, I give him credit. Good for him.
Exactly right. Why waste your calories on just a pushcart street dog in New Orleans when there's just like only about 100,000 better alternatives in that city? So, but Defo will be Defo, and we'll let that go for now. I've got a Defo story for you after this, but I gotta put in a good word for our friends at Costa's Greek Eatery and Pizzeria in Pompano Beach. We'll be out there in a couple of Tuesdays in the middle of July. July 12th, we'll have our next remote broadcast there, but you should go there much, much sooner, because for the finest and good Greek specialties along with New York style pizza, you go to Costa's Greek Eatery and Pizzeria, 1940 Northeast 49th Street in Pompano, just west of Federal Highway and north of Sample Road. Dine in, take out, delivery on all the major apps. Go to CostasGreekEateryPizzeria.com to look at the menu and do all your takeout and delivery ordering. It's an honest place with just great food, tremendous value, all the Greek specialties like spinach pie and moussaka and pasticcio, that's like the Greek lasagna, and gyros and souvlaki, and along with all this great New York pizza, thin crust, beautiful, nice, high-quality cheese, and all kinds of varieties, including the cup pepperoni, and the gorgonzola and spinach pie is always a favorite. Go out to Costa's. They're open every day from 11:30 on, and they will treat everyone like family. Tell them the Lunchbox, Mayo, Defo, and Lubie sent you.
I'm not gonna lie. I literally was asking you before the show because I'm like, okay, I'm ready for some Costas. So we're gonna have to do that spinach and gorgonzola pie next time, because I've done the pepperoni, and that spinach and gorgonzola sounds amazing. You want more of the sights and sounds from what goes in the palate of the one and only Mike Mayo. Coming up next, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on 1470 WWN, and also 96.9, 95.3 on the FM dial, and WWNNTalkRadio.com. Of course, you can check us out, South Florida Live video version on YouTube and on Facebook. Coming up next, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox finishes it off on a Monday right here on 1470 WWNN.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox with Lubie filling in for Defo, traveling in New Orleans today. Hopefully, he'll make it back tomorrow and won't be 300 pounds. No, he's good. He'll take his. That's New Orleans is a good walking town, so he could definitely work off your calories there. But
Yes, sir.
Lubie, I just in the limited time left, wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all,
Okay.
it was a fun day on Saturday. Saturday was Anthony Bourdain Day. They call it
Yeah.
Bourdain Day now. It would have been his 68th birthday. Of
Wow.
course, the renowned food travel host, former chef and author, and again, a guy who connected with a lot of people. And when he oh well, he took his own life a few years ago, and it shook a lot of people, especially his chef friends. But they decided, in his honor, they would have this the Bourdain Day, and for his birthday. And so it's a day where you should go out and connect and maybe see some old friends and have a beer and have some laughs. And that's what I did. I went to Shenanigans and did not
Nice.
see Pat there, but I saw guy named Eddie Watana, who used to own a couple of Thai restaurants. He ran Suko Thai in Fort Lauderdale for a long time with his mom, Sue. And then when after that closed, he went off to Cooper City and ran Eddie's Thai for a number of years. And then the pandemic did that in. And Eddie's been working actually some various jobs in the business, but it was nice to catch up with him. But when we were there, it was good. I had a great patty melt there. I've had a lot of burgers at Shenanigans East Side, but I've never had the patty melt. It was
Mm.
outstanding. I mean,
Nice.
just a good burger cooked medium rare, just as I ordered it, and with the grilled Swiss cheese, onions on a flattened like rye bread, and
Yep.
man, that was just so good. And Eddie, we took a little picture and snapped it, and he put it on Facebook. He likes to have fun. He's a prankster. He's just he floated. He said, "Here with Mike Mayo, we're opening another Thai slash bagel restaurant soon."
Nice. That's a combo.
And so it was good to catch up with Eddie W. But then yesterday I got invited. This is weird. I got invited to a home poker game, and it wasn't. Well, it wasn't at home. It was at a restaurant that I'm not going to name, but it was up in Palm Beach County, a restaurateur. I guess occasionally he invites some friends, and he makes a couple of pizzas, and he also made some wings and the pigs in blanket. And it was called for 3:30 in the afternoon. I thought I didn't have to go to dinner till 8. It ended up I had to cut out earlier because the girls changed their mind. I was taking my daughter and Michelle out to dinner before the big vacation, so I had to bolt early. And it's kind of bad when you take you win early. I won a lot of money
And then you
early,
get
but
out. They
and then
hate
it's
that.
like, oh, I gotta go. It's like
Giving
I'll
them a
never get
chance to win their
invited to
money
that
back.
game again. But it was a great time, but it was funny because one of the guys who is connected with this restaurant was a guy who spends a lot of time in Broward. He's a golfer, and he a lot of times golfs in Pompano Beach at the city course there in Pompano, and then goes over to the Isle. And he was telling me about how he's become friendly with Defo because he likes to play the ponies. This guy, and he sees Defo there, and he said one time, Defo and they've gotten friendly. They know each other a little bit, and he said one time Defo was there and having a couple of drinks at the bar, and he watched this race. Apparently it was like a dog track, and he just like Defo stood up after a race. He says, "I just crushed this exacta." And this guy just looked at him and he said, "Excuse me, are you just celebrating that you hit an exacta at Wheeling Park?" And Defo
Yeah.
realized the depths of his degeneracy, and he just said, "Yeah." But I guess you celebrate any win that you could get him. So
Exactly.
anyway, it was funny. It's a small world, right? Especially in the world
Yes,
of
sir.
food and degeneracy. But it was fun. I had a fun time at that poker game. It was
Nice.
some really good food too. I hope that they invite me because I took all their money, ate all their food, and I was like, "Oh, where are your women?" That's it. Um, that's it. No, that's gonna wrap it up for today. It was a weekend. I'm glad, Luby, that you
Yep.
and Shad got out and about,
Thank you,
and
sir.
we're gonna have fun this week also on the Lunchbox. Thanks for tuning in tomorrow. For Mike Luby Lubitz, this is Mike Mayo saying, remember to enjoy every sandwich.